because every tripod needs a little head. Stay tuned. Okay guys, the last video was Manfrotto tripod. Love it, 190X. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But this is a great tripod. Now, we're going to get to the 5.0, and let's get the whole, I'll get the whole mouthful out, and then I'm just going to call it the 502 from now on. It's the MVH 502AH video head. And this is not the ball head. This is the, I don't know, it's a screw head. It goes with my tripod, and it's the one I like because I have other tripods and accessories that are this same size. So let's talk a little bit about, and of course, I'm not going to talk about the mounting plate. The mounting plate is very basic. It's a steel mounting plate. It's very sturdy, and I've never had any problems with it. I will talk about how it attaches, but it's on the bottom of the camera that's pointing at me right now, and it'd be very hard to see. The head itself is what we're going to talk a lot about, and mostly I'm going to talk about ergonomics. So let's go over some quick features. Here we have the lockdown for the plate. The plate only comes in from the back. There are stops in the front up here. And I find that, nice because, if you're pushing it in, it's not going to go all the way through. There's the the release. So it is a locking. So you do have to press the release to get it to come out. And as you can see, the little whoop, 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 whoop. I like that. The next couple of things, we have accessory screw attachments. And this is actually out of the base of my camera. But we have one there. So the plug does not come with it is what I'm saying. And one on the other side. So if you have things like an LCD monitor arm that you want to hang off, and your camera tends to not be stable enough using like the shoe mount, that's what I found very useful with this. I love the fact that, it's on the head. So if you're, panning or tilting, it's going to stay with you and where you are. But it's also not hanging off the camera. I've had not great success with, mounting an LCD to this camera in particular. Obviously, depending on what camera you have, it may or may not bother you, but my normal screen on this is like a 3-inch screen, and it's a pain in the ass to see if I'm, the color's good, if I'm framed right, and like, I'm in the basement right now, and I can tell you, like, the down light, and I don't have my normal light set up yet, and all this stuff. On this screen, whenever I film, I'm like, oh, it looks fine. Anyways, it's really nice to have these, is what I'm saying. Let's talk a little bit about the handle. So the handle can be placed on either side, and I'm going to say right now that I feel like this was designed by somebody that's left-handed, or normal videographers use their left hand to do panning and tilting. I'm right-handed. I cannot use my left hand to pan or tilt for crap, which is why I don't do a lot of it in videos. So the nice thing here is, you can go that way, or I tend to like having it up and up out of my way. It attaches nice and securely. It's got teeth, and you can see them right there. So teeth to lock in. The other side has the same thing. So you can move the lever or the handle between either side. Now, let's talk about ergonomics. How do you pan and tilt, and how do you lock down those features, and how do you adjust the tension? Well, let's talk first about panning. So, panning, the fluid drag system is adjusted in the middle, and the tension, the drag system, is this ring around the bottom. So when it's hooked in, that gives you your pan, right? And right now I have it pretty tight, and it's, when it's not on the tripod, it's kind of hard to adjust. But this isn't the worst one. It's not the easiest to unlock. I would have really liked to see the locking system be the ring somehow, and the tension system be on the inside. Now, engineering wise, I don't know if that's possible, but ergonomically, I lock and unlock 100 times more than I adjust the tension, because typically I have the tension set to what I want for panning, and then I lock it, right? And then I'm doing a straight shot like this, and then I go back and, hey, I want to do some pans or some tilts or whatever, and I unlock it. Then I gotta lock it again. So I never really adjust the maybe I fiddle with it once a month, but I really never touch it. So ergonomically, not the best thing. That brings us to, well, let's get this out of the way right now. The bubble level is right here, and I can't even, well, there we go, right there. Now, it's completely useless. When my camera is on here, I cannot see it at all. So, to level, because the 190X doesn't have a bubble level on it either, I actually have a little magnetic level that I put on it if I really want to like make sure something's level. I just have a little 4-inch magnetic level that I just hook on there, and then I can level it if I want to, if I really care that much. Now that's a little thing, big deal. But what it does help, what that bubble level does help, and what would be nice is if they would put it somewhere that you could see the damn thing. When you're leveling your tripod, if you want to make sure your legs are all level so that the head is level, so that your pans and tilts and the friction bearings and everything work correctly, then it's kind of a pain in the ass. What I've actually taken to doing is taking the camera off every time I move the tripod, which technically you should probably do anyways for the safety of your camera equipment. In reality, it's completely a pain in the ass. And even then, I actually have a little flashlight to shine down to see the bubble level, because it's just so obnoxious to look at. Little things. So, but we're still talking about ergonomics, and that's the big downfall with this for me, is the ergonomics. Let's talk tilting, because this is where it really drives me insane, being right-handed and using the handle on the right-hand side. So the tension for the drag, for the fluid head, is right here. And I do adjust this more often than the pan, I will completely admit. However, the unlock is right here. Now, you don't think that's that big of a deal until you're doing something with the video, which of course I have this way too high now, but you're doing something, filming, doing a pan, doing a tilt, and you want to lock it down so that you can get, a level pan without worrying about the tilt. Well, now I have to take my hand off the handle, reach around, and because of the camera I have, and this can only be worse with bigger cameras, which is what this is designed for. I think this is designed for like up to 20-pound cameras. I'll put the link to the product down below, because right now I can't remember the product specifications off the top of my head, but unlock it, and part of this is tension too, so you can use this to kind of tension, like ghetto tension. So if it's not all the way locked down, it'll still tilt some, but it bounces back. It's kind of the return is what it affects more than anything. So the problem is when you have to reach around the handle, under the camera, and try to get at this thing, which to make it not tilt, you have to torque down pretty tight, which means you have to, go at it pretty good to get it undone. I feel like I'm like, no. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. I really wish, and like I said, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm not, a videographer. I don't know. Maybe most videographers use their left hand on the handle because they're pulling focus with their right hand. I don't know. I've always pulled focus with my left hand, because that's the way most LCDs are on the right side. So I've always, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. If you have thoughts about it, put it down in the comments. But that's the one thing about this that really drives me insane, is that I just feel like, it's a solid piece. I haven't had any, when I first got it, the pan had a slight kind of like grinding. And at first I thought there was something wrong. And then I kind of took the PC water cooler's idea of like, maybe it's got like some air bubbles in the fluid. And so I just one day I just sat there and kind of for 5 minutes rocked it back and forth with some weight on it, and did some spins and really kind of worked it in. and it absolutely stopped grinding. It has been flawless since then. I've had no problems with it at all. Of course, I use it inside, so it doesn't get dusty or dirty. It almost always sits on the tripod with the camera on it, so it doesn't really get disassembled and moved around a lot. So take that into consideration. But other than that, the weight is the other thing that I am not super happy. I mean, it's obviously built for big cameras, and that's kind of the thing I regret the most. When I bought this, I had ambitions of picking up like a C100 or an FS7, a much bigger camera. And since then, I've decided that, frankly, my video skills suck, and I should stick with my XA20 until I get better at using it before I spend like $5,000 on a bigger camera, because it's just going to make things worse, not better. So in that retrospect, I wish I would have got the slightly smaller head, because my XA20 is really, oversized DSLR, and it's actually lighter than most DSLRs with their lenses. So that said, I overbought on the head. I feel like the tripod was the perfect tripod for me. Maybe the carbon one, but the carbon one was like $400 more. So that's why I didn't buy the carbon one. I won't lie, and I don't travel a lot. So guys, this is Tim for Timmy Tech TV. Thanks for tuning in for my review, my thoughts on the 502AH head. Check out the 190X review if you haven't already seen it. It was the previous video. And until next time, check us out at Timmy Tech TV, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And we'll see you next time.